Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Today's lecture will be inshallah on vocabulary reading comprehension. عنوان المحاضرة المفردات قراءة مهارة القراءة في اللغة الإنجليزية. The objectives أهداف المحاضرة of this lecture is enhancing reading comprehension, that is to improve students' ability to understand written text by expanding their vocabulary and grasping the meaning of unfamiliar words, improving retention and recall, that is going to help students to retain information better and recall key details when reading by learning new vocabulary words. The third is increasing language proficiency to build students' lexical knowledge and usage, enabling them to express ideas more precisely and communicate effectively in both written and spoken English. Facilitating critical thinking as well, enhance critical thinking skills by enabling students to analyze text more critically, infer meanings, make connections between words and concepts, and evaluate arguments or perspectives. Supporting academic success to aid students in understanding academic texts, engaging in discussions, writing coherence essays, and demonstrating comprehension and analysis in assessments and exams. The sixth one, that's promoting lifelong learning to cultivate a habit of learning new words and using them actively in reading and writing, fostering a mindset of lifelong learning and language development. Now, the lecture terms, that is مصطلحات المحاضرة. Now, the terms that we are, or the key terms that we are going to use, like global communication, lingua francas, academic advancement, language of instruction, career opportunities, employability, cross-cultural exchange, international collaboration, culture enrichment, access to information. Now, to introduce the lecture that is here, مقدمة المحاضرة, welcome to today's lectures on the vital role of vocabulary in enhancing reading comprehension skills. In the journey of mastering the English language, building a strong vocabulary is like unlocking the door to a treasure trove of knowledge and understanding. This lecture delves into why learning vocabulary is crucial. It's very important, that is to say, particularly in the context of improving reading comprehension abilities. First, that is a gateway to understanding. It is the start of understanding the language. Vocabulary serves as the gateway to understanding written texts, just as a key opens door. An extensive vocabulary enables readers to unlock the meanings of words and sentences encountered while reading. Comprehending complex texts, understanding the text. A rich vocabulary is essential for comprehending complex texts such as academic articles, literary works, and technical documents. Without a diverse range of words at one's disposal, grasping the nuanced meanings and ideas presented in this text can be challenging. The third, making inferences, that is to refer to ideas or suggest, vocabulary acquisition aids in making inferences while reading. When encountering unfamiliar words or phrases, readers with a robust vocabulary can infer meanings based on context, enabling them to extract deeper layers of meaning, deeper understanding of meaning from the text. Improving retention and recall, that's number 4. Learning new vocabulary words enhances retention and recall of information. Readers who can remember and understand key terms and concepts are better equipped to engage critically with the material and remember important details. Enhancing critical thinking, which is also another important aspect. A varied vocabulary enhances critical thinking skills by enabling readers to analyze, evaluate, and interpret text more effectively. It encourages readers to question, infer, and draw connections between ideas presented in the text. Expanding horizons, the sixth point, beyond improving reading comprehension, vocabulary acquisition expands horizons by exposing readers to new ideas, cultures, and perspectives. It enriches one's understanding of the world and fosters a lifelong love of or for learning and exploration. Throughout this lecture, inshallah, we will explore strategies for vocabulary acquisition, effective ways to incorporate new words into your reading comprehension practice, and the transformative impact a strong vocabulary can have on your vocabulary language proficiency and academic success. Let's embark on this journey of linguistics discovery and unlock the power of words together. Now, to talk about that is the first topic that we are going to deal with, which is here one of the, as we say in Arabic, المحاور الرئيسية for this lecture. Okay, the main topic, that is to say, the first one is the role of vocabulary in reading comprehension. What is the role of vocabulary? Of course, vocabulary plays a critical role, a very important role, that is to say, in reading comprehension because it directly affects, let's say, the reader's ability to understand, interpret, and engage with written text. Here are several key points to elaborate on this topic. Precise understanding. A rich vocabulary allows readers to precisely understand the meanings of words and phrases encountered in text. For example, consider the sentence, "The politician's rhetoric was bombastic." Understanding the word bombastic, meanings, of course, bombast or excessively grandiloquent, is crucial for grasping the author's critique of the politician's style of speech. So this is as a new word or a strange word for some. Contextual clarity. Vocabulary aids in discerning the contextual nuances of a text. Words often carry different meanings depending on the context in which they are used. For instance, the word bark can refer to the sound of a dog. Okay, makes or the outer covering of a tree. That different meaning. Context helps determine the intended meaning. Okay, so when we have the same word but different meanings, now according to the context, okay, we can differentiate or determine what is meant or what is the intended meaning of this word. Is it the first meaning, the second meaning, the third meaning, as you know in English language? Interpreting figurative language. Many texts, especially literary works, use figurative language, which is what we call figurative speech sometimes, such as metaphors, similes, and idiomatic expressions. Understanding this or these figurative meanings of words and phrases is essential for comprehending the deeper layers of meaning in a text. That is, to understand the meaning of the text or the sentence, let's say, and understand it, let's say, orally, or all of the sentence, that is to say. For example, in the metaphor, time is a thief. This is a metaphor, okay? The word thief is not meant literally, but metaphorically, to convey the idea that time steals moment and opportunities. This is as example. Now, as second or another, let's say, aspect or point, that navigating technical or specialized texts. In academic or technical texts, specialized vocabulary is often used to convey precise information related to a specific field. For instance, a medical journal discussing that is cardiovascular diseases will contain terms like, let's say, atherosclerosis or hypertension and cardiomyopathy, or familiarity with such technical vocabulary as technical terms, we can say, okay, is crucial for understanding and engaging with the content. Inference and analysis is another point. Of course, like a robust vocabulary enables readers to make inferences and analyze the text more effectively. When encountering unfamiliar words, readers can use their existing vocabulary and knowledge of context clues to infer meaning, make connections, and critically evaluate the author's argument or perspectives. To illustrate, let's consider an excerpt from a news article discussing the economic impact of globalization. And here, this is the sentence or the news. The advent of globalization has led to increased interconnectivity among economies, fostering trade, liberalization, and economic integration on a global scale. However, critics argue that globalization exacerbate income inequality and of course, undermines local industries. In this excerpt, this news, understanding terms like globalization, interconnectivity, trade liberalization, income inequality, and local industries is essential for comprehending the author's analysis of the economic effects of globalization. Without a strong vocabulary encompassing these terms, readers may struggle to grasp the announced arguments presented in the article. Yes, it will be difficult if you don't know the meanings of these terms or vocabulary, this vocabulary. By emphasizing the importance of vocabulary in understanding text, students can develop a deeper appreciation for the role of language proficiency in reading comprehension and critical analysis. Acquiring a diverse and nuanced vocabulary enriches the reading experience, enhances cognitive skills, and fosters a more profound engagement with written materials across various genres and disciplines. The second topic, that is المحور الثاني, we can say in this lecture, which is strategies for vocabulary acquisition. Effective strategies for acquiring vocabulary can significantly enhance reading comprehension. Here are examples of strategies along with real text examples that, like the first one, context clues. Context clues are hints or information with a sentence or passage that can help readers infer the meanings of unfamiliar words. There are different types of context clues, like definition, of course, different like definition or explanation clues. Sometimes the meaning of a word is directly explained within the sentence or nearby sentences, the preceding or following sentences, let's say. For example, the term innovation, meaning the introduction of new ideas or methods, is crucial for technological advancement. Synonym clues. Synonyms that same meaning, okay? Words with similar meanings can provide clues to the meaning of an unfamiliar word. For instance, the politician's rhetoric was verbose, filled with long-winded speeches and unnecessary details. Okay, this is, for example, an example on that point. Antonym clues. Antonyms, the opposite meaning. That's say words with opposite meanings can also help infer the meaning of a word. For example, the novel's protagonist was, altruistic, always putting others' need before her own. Okay, example clues as well. That is the first point. That the previous point is, in antonyms. Example clues, sometimes examples or illustrations are provided to clarify the meanings of a word. For instance, the chef prepared a delectable dessert featuring, of course, a rich chocolate, janac and fresh berries. This is, of course, how we explain or give examples. Word families. Families of the words, that is, word families are groups of words that share a common root base word and have related meanings. Okay, understanding word families can help learners expand their vocabulary more efficiently For example, root words, root words, that is knowing that is the derivation from that is the word is derived from, so we add suffixes or prefixes. So knowing common prefixes, suffixes, and root words can help, decipher the meanings of many words. For instance, the root word bio refers to life. So words like biology, biography, and let's say biodegradable all relate to aspects of life. So this is what we mean root, okay? Word formation. Word formation. Word formation, this is what I told you about derivation, okay? Understanding how words are formed can aid in learning a new vocabulary. For example, adding the prefix re, that is to verb, indicates the repetition or back and forth actions, as in review, for example, or revisit, or replay, or recreate, okay, redecorate, etc. So also mnemonic devices. Mnemonic devices are memory aids to techniques, that help learners remember new words by associating them with familiar concepts, images, or patterns. Some examples of mnemonic, devices, including acronyms. Acronyms, creating acronyms to remember a sequence of words or concepts. For instance, the acronym ROY GB, that is helps remember the colors of the rainbow. That's in order to, let's say, in order like red, orange, green, blue, indigo, violet, etc. So this is what we mean by acronyms. Like if I say, for example, basic or UNESCO, etc. Okay, visualization, creating mental images or visual associations with words to enhance memory. For example, associating the word ebullient, meaning cheerful or enthusiastic, with bubbling pot of water can help remember its meaning. Reading widely and actively. Reading widely and actively here, that's extensively across various genres, topics, and styles, exposes learners to a wide range of vocabulary. Active reading involves engaging with the text, highlighting the unfamiliar words, looking up definitions, and using context clues to infer meanings. This process reinforces vocabulary acquisition and comprehension skills. Vocabulary games and activity, also another point here, which of course engaging in interactive vocabulary games, quizzes, puzzles, and activities can make learning new words enjoyable and effective, and of course more memorizable. Examples include crosswords, puzzles, words association, word matching games, and vocabulary building apps or websites. Also, another point, word maps and semantic mapping. That's creating word maps or semantic maps visually, organizes related words, synonyms, antonyms, and associations around a central word or concept. This visual representation helps reinforce connections between words and deepen understanding of their meanings. By employing these strategies, learners can actively and effectively acquire new vocabulary, new words, improving, of course, reading comprehension and enhances overall language proficiency. The third topic, okay, that is المحور الثالث, is utilizing vocabulary in reading comprehension practice. To utilize it, that is to use. Actively incorporating a newly acquired vocabulary into reading comprehension practice reinforces understanding and retention, as here, for example, let's say, as discussed below as examples with real text excerpts. Text annotation. Annotating texts involves actively marking or highlighting key vocabulary words, phrases, and concepts while reading. This practice helps reinforce understanding, engage with the material, and facilitate review. Here are some strategies for effective text annotation. Underlining, let's say, or highlighting, okay, like to identify and underline important vocabulary words or phrases in the text. This makes them stand out visually and prompts further attention during review. That through highlighting, of course, on and that's a underlining. Also, marginal notes. Write brief, let's say, explanations or synonyms or definitions of unfamiliar words in the margins of the text. This also helps understand and, of course, memorize the new vocabulary. This, of course, practice aids in immediate comprehension and serves as a quick reference during subsequent readings, as I told you, to memorize easily. Symbol coding. Develop a system of symbols or codes to mark different types of vocabulary words. For example, use an asterisk. This, of course, for important terms or certain marks. A question mark, for example, for unclear words, and an exclamation mark for interesting or impactful phrases. Color coding. Use different colors to distinguish between categories of vocabulary words, such as green for definitions, red for examples, and blue for synonyms, so on and so forth. This visual organization, enhances comprehension and retention. The second point, that is vocabulary journals. Keeping a vocabulary journal or log is an effective way to record new words, review definitions, and track progress in vocabulary acquisition. Here is how to create and utilize a vocabulary journal. Word entry, for example. Write down new words encountered during reading, along with their definitions, examples, sentences, and contextual usage. Another point, that is categorization. That is, to categorize, organize, that is, say, vocabulary entries into categories or themes, such as academic terms, literary terms, scientific concepts, etc. This organization helps reinforce connections between related words. Another point as well, regular review. Set aside time to review your vocabulary journal regularly. Quiz yourself or on definition, create sentences using new words, or create flashcards or active recall practice. Different point is contextual use. Practice using newly learned words in context by incorporating them into writing, assignments, discussions, or presentations. This application reinforces understanding and retention. A third point, we can say word expansion related to the strategies. Word expansion exercises. Word expansion exercises involve exploring related words, synonyms, antonyms, and word forms to deepen understanding and usage of vocabulary. Here are some word expansion strategies. Look at this. Here we have synonym exploration. Generally, one of the ways or techniques that helps students memorize the words easily is using synonyms and antonyms, by the way. This will help you let's say memorize words easily. Okay, so synonym exploration, this identifies synonyms. That you need to identify synonyms, words with similar meanings, of course, for vocabulary words encountered in reading. This exercise broadens vocabulary and enhances expression. Another, that is antonym identification. That is to identify the antonyms, the opposite meaning, for vocabulary words. Understanding antonyms provides nuances and context to word usage. Word forms, we talked about it also, word forms, the word forms of the word, verb, noun, adjectives, okay, to explore different forms of the words. This exercise illustrates how words function grammatically and expands linguistic versatility. The fourth point, that is contextual application. Of course, when you talk about reading, you must think of, or you must consider, let's say, context or the contextual application. Actively apply newly acquired vocabulary words in various contexts to reinforce understanding and usage. Here are ways to practice contextual application. One of these, writing exercises. Write sentences, paragraphs, or short essays incorporating new vocabulary words. Focus on using the words accurately and appropriately in different contexts. The second point, that discussion and debate. Engage in discussions or debate where you can use vocabulary words to express ideas, argue viewpoints, and support argument persuasively. Literary analysis, another point, that is to analyze literary texts and use vocabulary words to describe themes, characters, settings, and literary devices. This exercise deepens, of course, comprehension and critical analysis skills. By incorporating these strategies into reading comprehension practice, learners can effectively utilize vocabulary, improve retention, enhance comprehension, and strengthen overall language proficiency. The summary of this lecture, that is ملخص المحاضرة, to sum up, the lecture on mastering vocabulary and enhancing reading comprehension delves into the crucial relationship between vocabulary acquisition and the ability to comprehend and engage with written text. Here are the key points covered in the lecture. As we discussed, importance of vocabulary in comprehension. Vocabulary forms the foundation of understanding and reading comprehension. A robust vocabulary enables precise comprehension, interpretation of nonsense, and engagement with diverse texts. The second, strategies for vocabulary acquisition. Context clues, word families, mnemonic devices are effective strategies for learning new vocabulary. Encouraging active reading, word expansion exercises, and utilizing technology-based vocabulary tools can enhance vocabulary acquisition. Utilizing the third point, vocabulary in reading comprehension activities such as context clues, exercises, vocabulary expansion, games, and word family exploration promote the application of vocabulary in reading text. Now, text and annotation, vocabulary journals, and contextual writing activities reinforces vocabulary retention and usage. The fourth, sample activities, context clues, exercises involve inferring word meanings for context in longer passages. Vocabulary, of course, expression, expansion, games, challenging students to match words and synonyms or explore word families. Analyzing longer texts such as literary excerpts or news articles strengthens comprehension and vocabulary application. The fifth one here, benefits of vocabulary mastery. Mastering vocabulary enhances reading comprehension skills, critical thinking abilities, and overall language proficiency. It fosters deeper engagement with text, understanding that improves retention of information, and promotes effective communication and expansions. By emphasizing the importance of vocabulary acquisition and providing practical strategies and activities, the lecture equips students with the tools to enhance their reading comprehension skills, expand their vocabulary repertoire, and become more proficient and confident readers. That's it for today. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.